Hello, welcome to my show. My name is Madison Star Moon. Joining me today is Matt Bowman. We're going to have a little discussion about a video that he recently made. I would like to play that video clip for you.
I tend to keep my skepticism off YouTube, but I thought this was worth an upload. Now, for some context, Amanda Williams is a conspiracy theorist. Her primary focus is the idea that all the trails you see behind planes in the sky are part of an evil government plot. Tying in with this is the idea that all mobile phone towers are actually death towers, and they're going to kill you too. She also happens to think that Facebook itself is after her, and that anyone who disagrees with her, including myself, is a paid government agent or a shill. Now, Ryan Stewart is an ordinary, upstanding chap who happens to occasionally disagree with her and derive a bit of amusement from her wild theories. Amanda thought it would be an appropriate response to call his place of work and harass and threaten him, including threatening to tell his dad, which is amazing. Now, she has a bit of a history of doing this, having recently called the workplaces of several meteorologists in order to harass them and discredit them. I hope you enjoy this call, and I hope you join me in despising Madison Star Moon and supporting rational skeptics such as Ryan, who are just trying to educate people on how meteorology actually works.
I'd like to welcome you to the show. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you very much.
This is obviously going to be a confrontation. What compelled you to make a hit piece on me?
I made that singular video on you because I found the way you dealt with Ryan, including you calling him at his place of work, to be a bit, I think you crossed the line there, Amanda, and I think you probably shouldn't do those things, and I thought it was worth bringing this to people's attention without directing more traffic to your YouTube channel. Making my own video was an eloquent way of doing this.
What I find interesting about the whole thing is how you are somehow trying to make it appear as if Ryan is the victim in all of this. Really, all I was doing was defending myself, and I have been defending myself against you and all of your other friends that create these hate pages against chemtrail activists. What is your particular bone to pick with chemtrail activism?
Well, there's a number of bones to pick with chemtrail activism, but I'd like to at this point state that I have never created such a thing as a hate page. One of my main problems with chemtrail activism is the utter scientific ignorance that it spreads. It spreads fear. It causes people to become extremely suspicious of things that are actually wonderful atmospheric phenomena. It causes people to plot to blow up aeroplanes, stalk pilots, stalk people at their places of work, organize campaigns to get meteorologists in serious trouble with their employers. I know I've seen a lot of them floating around on some pages that you're very familiar with. And of course, then you have the people who are, tearing chunks out of their flesh because they think they have Morgellons disease.
First point that you said that was completely false is that you do not participate in hate pages.
I said I've never created any hate pages.
You've never created it, but regardless, you are a willing and active participant in many hate pages, fake imposter pages. I see your name all over all of them. So can you explain that?
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny.
You just have an interest in joking around about chemtrail activists?
I don't find many of them that funny. You are particularly vocal about your activism, and you say a lot of things that are easily provable as false.
You said that cell phone towers, mobile towers, are not considered death towers. Well, do you think that those cell towers are safe?
Yes, I happen to think they are pretty damn safe.
All of the scientific evidence that we have proving that they have radiation, they have dangerous frequencies.
What radiation and what specific frequencies? This is extremely important if you are going to assert that these towers are death towers that have a detrimental effect on human health.
They're called death towers for many reasons. People that work on them are often killed. Being a death tower operator is the number one most dangerous job in America. They catch on fire. They topple over. They mount these things on top of power lines. They actually place them in the most vulnerable locations. And why are they hiding them? Hiding them in church steeples? Do you actually believe that there is no radiation coming off of those antennas? They're live antennas. How much microwave frequencies do you think that a human can handle?
How much microwave frequencies can a human handle? It's going to be very difficult to quantify. Of course, the dosage is massively different. I imagine working on a tower that is in fact on is pretty dangerous, but that's really, really nothing to do with what the effects on the people on the ground are, which are easily measurable and shown to be utterly negligible.
Which you don't know, which you have absolutely no idea of. Radiation is invisible. Many towers have been found to have over the levels of radiation that humans can be exposed to. And I interviewed a death tower worker who actually admitted that they dummy up the documents. If you think that radiation is safe and cool and good, I mean, that's all fine and dandy, but don't try to hate on the people that are actually fighting a cause. You're not going to tell me that they're not death towers, because they cause death. They cause cancer. Have you ever heard of a cancer cluster?
I absolutely have. But you can't just label something a death tower because there are deaths associated with it. I mean, high-tension power lines probably have many, many, many more deaths associated with them. Do you call them death lines as well? What about trains?
Yeah, I call them death power lines. Yeah, I do, actually.
You actually do? Oh, okay. I wasn't aware you also thought power lines were death.
Power lines have been proven. Power lines have been proven, and also you've got the grid, the power grid. Sit here and try to defend dangerous technology that we use, whether it be for energy or for communication or whatever. That is irresponsible.
Can I present to you the car? Okay, the car has killed many, 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 many more people than power lines or your death towers ever will. I don't see you kicking up such a huge fuss about these things. Is it because you think that your death towers and your death power lines are part of some sort of actual organised conspiracy, and that you don't think the car is part of an organised conspiracy, or are you just picking and choosing what things you care about?
No, I don't pick and choose random things to care about. I care about the things that affect me. I actually live next to 2 death towers, and across the street from me are 7 more. It's about the entire agenda, and if you're going to ask me, do I believe that all cell towers are actually like weapons to be used against us? No, but I do know that the telecommunications industry is a greedy industry, and they do not care about human health. Why would you build a death tower into the stands of a place where kids are going to be playing? Why would they have to put it right there?
Because that's how you create a good network coverage, Amanda. You know,
right on top of the stands at the
why
school?
Do they put them on church steeples?
What are they? I'm talking about at a high school. Or is it so the kids in the school have good Wi-Fi? What is going on here?
Well, it is actually quite important that, you know, people in a school or, you know, any academic institution have good Wi-Fi access and good roaming capabilities. You could well argue that point.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. It's more important for them to have an internet connection than it is for them to have a brain tumor or something from the cancer, right?
Okay, Amanda, do you understand, you know, when you see those nice, you know, those sort of column-shaped objects on the side of the death towers, do you understand how much of that radiation is radiating directly downwards?
I'm not going to act like I'm some type of death tower worker that knows every ins and outs of exactly what levels of radiation are coming off of each antenna. But I'll tell you this, the more antennas that come up, the more microwave frequencies we are exposed to, the more susceptible to cancer we are and other things.
You can't get cancer from a microwave frequency, Amanda. It's non-ionizing radiation. This is absolutely basic stuff. I am quite insulted. You think people are going to get cancer? So you're saying that everybody else that's ever written
an article about this, all the scientific evidence, every single video, and people that actually prove how much radiation, they take their instruments and go up to the towers, you're saying they're all full of shit?
No, I'm saying it's irrelevant or it's out of context.
It's not irrelevant when somebody's bringing a meter up to a fucking tower and taking the readings off of it. Why are you defending dangerous technology? That makes me think that you're a shill. I mean, I know that you're a troll, but a shill is, to me, someone that's paid. Your video, it seemed a little scripted. You know what I'm saying? Your answers are a little too meta-bunky. You are one of the main notorious chemtrolls on the Internet. Everybody knows who you are, Matt. You're not some invisible figure. You're very well known to all of us. You know, so I just don't understand what you can gain from attacking us and participating on the hate pages.
Okay, first of all, you know, my words are entirely my own here, Amanda. Maybe I speak in a manner that you seem to think means that I'm meta-bunky, whatever you mean by that. But, you know, as I say, these are my own words. You're accusing me and, you know, you're insinuating that I'm a shill, that I'm paid. I find that absolutely incredible. My history is well known to anyone. You are more than welcome to look at my academic record, any part of my life. I'm actually very open with who I am online. I don't hide behind a fake name or anything. You know, I am not a shill. I really don't get where you're coming from when you say that things like smart meters are dangerous technologies. I mean, I am sitting within
because it's
inches
been proven. It's been proven over and over again. Smart meters are dangerous. So are baby monitors. So are a whole bunch of other things.
I see you out there, and I understand at the moment you're probably using a number of wireless devices.
And I actually have side effects from that.
You're transmitting through the air in the room you are in many, many wireless signals, and you are receiving them as well. And I know you make frequent use of a mobile phone because that's what you use to take all the pictures of the mobile phone towers. Is that radiation okay? I'm trying to just get an understanding.
No radiation is okay. I'm sacrificing myself. Okay. I'm endangering my own life. Every time I go out and do these things, I have a side effect of radiation from the hundreds of towers that I visited over the past few years. It's a side effect. I have a constant ringing in my ears that never, ever goes away. It's a high-pitched ringing, and I know many other people suffer from that. I do want to discuss the chemtrails with you for a minute. What makes you believe that the weather that we see or the lines in the sky are totally natural?
Well, you're sort of getting a little wrong there. The lines we see in the sky are, of course, not natural. Those are lines left by planes. That's not up for debate. I don't think you're going to meet anyone that says, Cirrus Aviaticus is natural. It's absolutely not. It's an unnatural cloud formation. But it is just a normal byproduct of burning hydrocarbons at altitude. There is really nothing suspicious about them. Sometimes they dissipate quickly, sometimes they don't dissipate at all. It is exactly the same physics that you should apply to.
There's nothing suspicious about the sky looking like a heinous, hot mess every single day.
Okay, first, it's not every single day.
I see, that's what makes me think that you are a shill, because I don't understand how you can possibly try to say that you actually believe that those are contrails, that nothing is being sprayed.
Because there is literally no evidence to suggest that they are anything but contrails. Every single picture I've seen of so-called chemtrails, and I have seen thousands, and I have seen maybe hundreds of YouTube videos, it is all completely explainable using what we have known for many, many years about contrail formation. People say...
So you're saying you saw chemtrails when you were a kid?
Actually, no. Well, I didn't see chemtrails because they're not a real thing. But I have seen many contrails when I was a kid. I saw them persisting.
I mean, contrails like what you see today?
Absolutely.
Those of us that are 30 and up, we've never seen anything like this.
Amanda,
chem skies...
I'm 28 years old, and my father worked for the Civil Aviation Authority for a number of years, and his father before him...
there we go.
No. Hear me out. And his father before him worked for the Royal Air Force, creating lead indicators to help people on the ground shoot down, to shoot down fighter planes. And in fact, being able to trace a contrail back in World War II was an extremely helpful thing to be able to do. They spend a lot of money and time trying to negate contrail persistence because it does tend to mean you get shot down by the Luftwaffe. Now, what I'm trying to get to you here is that both generations above me, and in fact, on all sides of my family and many other people I've spoken to about this of all ages, do remember contrails persisting. We have photographs of contrails persisting all the way through history. Now, granted, there may not be as many, but as I'm sure you are aware, there has been a massive increase in air travel. We are talking thousands of %. And there has also been a change to the type of engines that are used, a change in the cruising altitude, and a change to the type of aviation fuel used in these planes.
So you mean to tell me that we just changed everything to be the absolute worst it could possibly be? Developing technology, we're going to continue to make contrails persist even more? That's ridiculous.
That wasn't really the issue. The issue, especially with the introduction of the high bypass turbofan engine, which I know, for example, Geoengineering Watch claims cannot create contrails, but that's just a matter of his own scientific illiteracy.
What about JP8 and dirty fuel additives? What about those?
A much higher output per amount of fuel put into it than its predecessor. So it was actually a very good thing because it reduced the amount of actual pollution. Now, that is a good thing. Air travel, you can debate whether or not that's a good thing. It creates a shit ton of pollution.
You sound like you're reading from a script.
I am not reading from a script.
Yes, you are. You're being fake as hell right now. I don't want to hear your fake disinformation back.
You actually accusing me of reading from a script. Sorry,
Amanda. I want to talk like a person to a person.
Amanda, you're actually accusing me.
You're not going to Amanda me because when you're basically telling me that me and everyone else that's talking about this, we're just imagining this. We're not really watching them make crisscross shapes and designs in the sky. They're making obvious patterns, grids. Come on now. And what is a chem sky? I never saw a chem sky before.
What is a chem sky? I don't know. It's probably something you've made up.
A chem sky is from the
grids.
frequency pumping through the artificial chem clouds. We're overcast all the time. You're just promoting the idea that these are contrails.
Right. So you mentioned grids, right? And you seem to have some issue with grids, and it's something we've heard mentioned a lot. Now, there's an interesting test you can do right now that will sort of help you understand how a grid might, form in the sky. Would you like me to just quickly run you through it? It would take about 2 minutes.
No, I really don't. I watch the planes spray intentionally. So trying to promote the contrail idea is like a dead issue. I'm more concerned with why you would believe that.
Anything that I have to say, you're assuming that anything that attempts to debunk
your
chosen theory.
But I'm not giving you 2 minutes. No, I'm not giving you 2 minutes to spread disinformation on my radio show. But I'll give you a minute to go ahead and explain whatever you're saying.
Okay. Well, it's a very simple thing. Get a piece of paper and draw a cross on it. Those two crosses are two intersecting flight paths. Now, move the paper diagonally. The paper moving diagonally is the wind. Now, draw another cross in the same place, assuming the flight paths haven't moved. Repeat this 3 or 4 times, and you are left with a grid. This is how contrails often form in the sky.
It needs to dissipate. I mean, any condensation, it doesn't matter, whatever, it would eventually dissipate. This never dissipates.
Why
turns
does it need
into
to dissipate?
clouds.
I don't understand. The clouds have to dissipate because I live in England, and I can have the same damn cloud looming over my house for nearly a week, it seems. And I'm exaggerating slightly there.
Why didn't planes make clouds before?
They absolutely did make clouds before, Amanda. It was just a lot less common.
No, they didn't. And that's another thing. No, they didn't. And pulling up those pictures from World War II is the oldest metabunk trick. You guys got to come up with something better. I want to go on to geoengineering. Do you believe it's happening right now?
You're just dismissing the evidence because you don't like it and you think it's
I'm not
trick.
dismissing evidence. I'm telling you that we have proof.
You have to say that evidence is false. You have to show why that evidence is false.
Okay, do I believe that contrails exist? Sure I do. I believe contrails exist. I believe there's dirty JP8 fuel additives, trade secret ingredients. But do I believe that has anything to do with chemtrails? No, I don't. You're talking about two different things. You're trying to do the throw-off game, like don't think about chemtrails, try to prove that contrails exist. We all know contrails exist, but chemtrails are not contrails. Got it?
No, the reason contrails are important, Amanda, is because everything that is claimed to be a chemtrail is in fact a contrail. So understanding more about how contrails behave, how they can spread out, how they can persist, and how they can form, and how they can create patterns is absolutely central to this debate. And to say that talking about contrails is irrelevant is being amazingly intellectually dishonest.
I believe contrails exist. They've existed since the invention of the aircraft. That's not what the argument is. You are denying that chemtrails exist. So who's really being the dumbass here? But it's irresponsible of you to totally say, okay, well, anything sprayed in the sky is a contrail. We know that they spray chaff. We know that they do cloud seeding. They do pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. What else do? They test winds using lithium. They do all kinds of experiments on the atmosphere, which I would like to move on to.
Go ahead. Let's talk about geoengineering.
Geoengineering. Do you believe it's happening right now?
I believe that it occurs in some small isolated places because, yes, it is being tested and it has been proposed. I do not believe, however, that geoengineering has anything to do with the trails we see behind planes. There are no geoengineering proposals or anything that I've seen being tested or even heard about on, weird conspiracy theory forums that suggests that the trails we see behind planes all over the world every day are anything to do with a geoengineering project of any kind.
What about the Air Force document that shows chemtrails are an exotic weapon, specifically outlines chemtrails as an exotic weapon? What is that exotic weapon, chemtrails?
That's a bit more difficult. I'm not hugely familiar on that document because it's only something I've read in passing. However, it also talks about space-based plasma weaponry, among other things. And from what I remember reading about this document, and you'll have to excuse me because I'm not hugely familiar with it, the fact that this document exists is not actually evidence for anything. I think you need to look into really who wrote this document and who submitted this document because it's not actually saying that they exist. In fact, I definitely know it doesn't say that they exist or that it's anything that they are actually doing.
I have a friend that's in special ops, and I asked him about, the chemtrail planes. And he specifically told me that he buys aircraft, commercial aircraft, he converts them, and then sells them to the military as weapons. So if you want to say that he's lying, well, that's okay. Well, then he's lying. What about the Air Force mechanic, the retired Air Force mechanic?
We are talking about the difference between the fact that you can theoretically fit a nozzle to a plane, okay, and that somehow being proof of a global spraying program that every single government in the world is in on, every single aircraft manufacturer in the world.
Haven't the UN admitted to this? I mean, I'm sure the UN, I can pull up some documents showing that the UN has admitted to spraying us.
No, they haven't admitted that. That's pure conjecture. There's no way.
I'm very curious. I'm curious about you. I have a question. Why would you protect and defend a government that has already disarmed you?
I'm sorry, that was a bit left field.
Not out of left field. Gun rights taken from them. Don't you think you should question your government when they take away your gun rights?
Well, no, actually, I don't. I'm not an advocate for gun rights. I am very much pro-gun control. However, this is completely irrelevant to the discussion, Amanda. Can we please get back to the science?
I'm just trying to give the audience a basic impression of who I'm dealing with here. We're talking with someone who, after their government took away their guns, they were still okay and are still defending the fact that we're not getting sprayed with anything. I know England gets hit hard. I don't know how you could possibly be okay with defending something that hurts you.
It doesn't hurt me at all, Amanda, because I don't allow myself to become paranoid about it. It absolutely hurts you. I'm saying this quite honestly. I believe that the chemtrail hoax hurts you. It damages you. It makes you afraid. It takes up all of your time. And to 99.9% of the population, it makes you look quite silly. Now, I am quite well versed in...
I don't give a crap. I'm not going to stay asleep and deny what I'm seeing with my own eyes. And let me ask you this. I know you've heard some of my calls to the government. Why do you think the EPA, after years and years of me calling them, has still yet to even investigate any of my claims?
And I'm going to be really honest with you, Amanda, here. I think it's because when you call, they think, oh, God, it's her again. And then they hear you out, they humour you because they have to be polite. That is what they are paid to do.
They're paid to protect the environment. They're not paid to be polite. They're paid to investigate environmental crimes. Go ahead.
Yes, but this isn't an environmental crime, Amanda. This is something you have made up. You have
made it up. Wait, I thought we just established that the Air Force made it up with their chemtrails. They call them chemtrails. Isn't it the Air Force that made it up?
You're just making things up now. Again, the Air Force didn't make up the term chemtrails.
They just outlined it for the people that they're training. You're right. It was just a training manual. Training for what? I want you to tell them why you are going to continue to stalk, antagonize, harass, and participate on hate pages against activists.
Absolutely. Okay, I would like to first refute the fact that Amanda says that I'm stalking. I'm not phoning people up where they work, for example. That's something very much in the ballpark of, your chemtrail hoax believer. I continue to debunk, which is not harassment, I continue to debunk chemtrail believers because I think they cause genuine harm for all the reasons I stated earlier and more.
Debunking is not going on a fake page where somebody has taken my photograph and you guys posted my address and I turned all of that into the FBI and I did see you as a part of that. So you're going to try to deny it or whatever, but that's criminal activity. It's criminal mischief online, and you think because you're hiding behind your profile on your computer screen that you're somehow, and you're in a different country that it doesn't affect you, but it's really a crime.
It's saying I have committed a crime. This is important.
I'm saying that I believe that stalking, harassing, and participating on hate pages is a crime. When you're saying I'm going to shoot down all the planes and you made a fake account acting like I was the one saying that, I sent all of that to the FBI. I sure did. And I'm sure they have the ability and capability to find the IP address for those people. Yeah, you've been involved in all of it the entire way for I don't know how long I've been dealing with you, but I know it's been a long time. And considering we don't know each other, I find that to be stalking. Someone that has such an interest in me and always, coming after me and stuff, what do you call that?
In all honesty, Amanda, I really am not that interested in you at all, in any respect. I think
you're really not that interested in me, but you just made a video about me a couple of weeks ago? Okay.
Yeah, because it was actually more about, the way you and other conspiracy theorists treat people who question you.
You're worried about how we treat people when you guys are the ones that create the hate pages?
You went to the point of finding out where this man worked, finding his phone number, calling his phone number, then recording him without his permission or knowledge, okay? Now, if I go to a court of law with that, compared to going to a court of law with, say, these people said something nasty about me on a Facebook page and I think they're all part of a giant conspiracy and I've called them shills.
You guys are stalker shills. You harass the hell out of us. You try to discredit the chemtrail movement and I guess the Death Tower movement, too. I mean, are you a Sandy Hook believer as well? Might as well just go ahead and put in false flags in there as well, right?
Well, I know you, for example, do shit on the memories of dead children by insinuating that they didn't die. That's kind of by the by. I think what it's important to remember, Amanda, that the debunking and discrediting the chemtrail movement, as you put it, or the Death Tower movement, is not a felony. It's not even a misdemeanor. It is actually, as far as I'm concerned, doing right by the world.